Back at the whiteboard because I know English can be really, really tricky, but if you teach the syllable rules and the phonics sounds, you will get your learners 90% of the way there to decoding for the English language. However, there are a few other rules that are a little bit more obscure, not used as often, that will really need to be taught also. Like, for example, in English-based words, we're not talking other languages here, English-based words cannot end in the letters I, J, U, or V, except you and I, because you and I are special. The word you and the word I, yeah, those are the two exceptions. So we can't have a word ending in a V in the English language. And you might notice these words are kind of strange looking. Why are they spelled the way they are? These should be magic E words, right? That E at the end helping that vowel say its name, but instead of have, it's have. Give instead of give, love, it's love. And this one can be live or live. What is happening? Well, it's mostly because these words in English cannot end in a V. So I teach my students, these V's are really tippy letters. See that point at the bottom? They're super tippy. They will tip over if there is not a helper E there to help close out the word and hold that V up. So that explains words like that, right? So we're just keeping those short vowel sound or a schwa sound. But what happens here? These are not the same. Here, the E is actually being a magic E. And if you might notice, it is a lot of times because it's a multisyllabic word. This is just not a hard and fast rule, you guys. Like live and live here, those are spelled exactly the same because we have homophones in our language. So what I would tell you to help your students with this really strange thing that's going on with this V and magic E is have them map it as a magic E first, because that's the syllable rule. But when they go and sound it out here, have, if they're making this a magic E, they're like, Miss Colbert, have is not a word I've ever heard. And that's where I would say, you know what? There's a few words in English that are silly like that. And it's not a magic E. Then I would explain the reason for the E in words that do not have the long vowel sound is just that E helping out the V. So teach them the magic E first. Then when they realize that something is not quite working right, it's not the word they expected, you can bring in that little helper right there to help explain why that sometimes happens. I know it's not a hard and fast rule, but it'll help you get your students to understanding a little bit better. I wish I had a better answer for this. There's just not one.